So I want you to imagine a financial storm that is just so fierce, so intense, that the standard laws of market physics simply do not apply anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? Like a situation where up means down, left means right, and, all the existing logic that everyone normally relies on, like historical data or safe bets, is just completely shattered. You're looking at your screens, and literally nothing is behaving the way it's supposed to.
Right. It's exactly the kind of environment that strips away all the illusions we have about predictability. When market pressure hits that absolute maximum, the elegant theories we build in calm times, they go right out the window.
They really do.
They're left dealing with just raw, unfiltered chaos.
And that chaos, honestly, is exactly what we are exploring today in this deep dive, because we've got an exclusive look at a truly fascinating algorithmic survival experiment. The data we're looking at is dated June 23, 2026, and it comes to us straight from the observation logs of Team AI Lab.
Which is incredibly detailed stuff, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. But before we get into the actual numbers, which I gotta say are completely wild, we need to set a very firm boundary for you listening right now.
Yes, this is absolutely essential. What we are discussing today is it is not investment advice.
No, not at all.
We are not here to tell you what to buy or what to sell or, to hint at any sort of future market profits. This is purely an observation log.
Yeah, we are essentially, think of it like we're standing behind a one-way mirror in a laboratory. We're just taking a cold, objective look at how specific, automated, algorithmic trading units behave under extreme simulated market stress.
Right.
There's no human emotion, no panic selling. It's just, logic under fire.
It's essentially a behavioral study of code. And I think the beauty of this specific experiment is how it pits two fundamentally opposing strategic philosophies directly against each other.
Yes. The cast of characters here is what makes this so compelling to me.
Yeah.
So on one side, we have Team Mountain Climbers, and their core philosophy is equilibrium detection. If you picture them in this massive financial storm we're talking about, they aren't trying to outrun it. They are looking for an unmoving place, like a crack in the rock face to just hammer in a pit and clip in and hold on. They want to find a quiet center of gravity amidst all that noise.
Which, from a coding perspective, is incredibly difficult to program.
I can imagine. And then on the opposing side, you have Team Wave Riders, and their philosophy is surging force tracking.
Totally different approach.
Exactly. They have zero interest in standing still. They actively want to harness the violent, surging force of these rough seas. Like they are scanning the chaos, trying to find the momentum and attempting to surf it.
Right, it's momentum versus stability.
Yeah.
And the way Team AI Lab is testing these two philosophies is honestly, it's kind of ruthless.
It really is, because let's look at what happened at 9.0 JST with the daily scouting draft. They brought this, what they call new talent, onto the battlefield. So exactly one new algorithmic unit was scouted for the mountain climbers, and two new units were scouted for the wave riders.
And this is where it gets intense.
Yeah, because the second they are drafted, they are locked into a mandatory 10-session tracking protocol.
Right, that 10-session protocol is basically their crucible. Once a unit is deployed, it cannot be pulled. The lab forces it to operate through 10 distinct trading periods to prove whether its underlying mathematical logic can actually survive the current market conditions.
But the conditions right now are horrific. I mean, I'm looking at this market storm, and I see Team AI Lab dropping these brand new, completely untested algorithmic units, this new talent, right into the thick of it.
Thrown right into the fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels like taking rookie sailors-like code that has barely run a simulated lab and just tossing them straight into a Category 5 hurricane. Why do that? Like, wouldn't you want to test a new logic model in calm waters first to make sure it even works?
Well, it's a natural assumption to make, right? We generally want to ease into testing in most fields, but if
Right.
we consider what Team AI Lab is actually trying to achieve, testing these units in calm waters is, honestly, it's functionally useless.
Wait, useless? How so?
Wait.
I mean, if a unit can't make money on a sunny Tuesday, it's definitely not going to survive a crash, right?
True. But a calm market doesn't test the limits of your logic model at all. It just proves that your model functions when everything is easy and, highly correlated.
Okay, fair.
You cannot test a mountain climber's ability to find true equilibrium or a wave rider's ability to surf a violent surge if the water is flat. The true test of a logic model, really the only way to know if its architecture is genuinely robust, is whether it shatters when the pressure is at its absolute highest.
Ah, okay, I see what you're saying. It's like stress testing an airplane wing in an aeronautics lab. You don't learn anything by bending it like a millimeter.
Yeah.
You only learn where its structural integrity lies by bending it until the metal physically snaps.
Precisely. Yeah, by throwing this new talent into a Category 5 storm on day one,
Yeah.
the lab immediately finds out if the foundational code of these units has actual survival merit. Because, if the code survives this environment, it can survive practically anything.
And man, they really do need to survive. Because the environment they've been dropped into right now isn't just a storm. The lab describes it as an abnormal divergence.
Yes, that's a key term.
Like the very rules of the market seem to have fundamentally changed. But if you just glance at the surface, you wouldn't know it. It's incredibly deceptive.
Oh, completely. And this is where we run into a major disconnect between how the general public measures reality in the financial markets versus what is actually happening under the hood in the algorithmic space.
Right, let's talk about that disconnect, because the lab's index contrast metrics are just fascinating. Both the mountain climbers and the wave riders are facing this severe drag against standard benchmarks.
Huge drag.
Yeah, the mountain climbers are currently sitting at negative 4.4 points against the Nikkei 225 index and negative 0.4 against the TOPIX. And meanwhile, the wave riders are at negative 4.7 points against the Nikkei and negative 0.7 against the TOPIX. Now, real quick, for anyone listening, when a lab uses points here, they aren't talking about raw dollar amounts, right?
No, correct. In this simulation, a point is it's a proprietary normalized metric used by Team AI Lab. It measures algorithmic efficiency and simulated return against a baseline of risk.
Got it.
So a negative point value against an index means the algorithm is experiencing a severe structural disadvantage compared to just, buying and holding the broad market.
Right, so if I turn on the evening news, the big indices like the Nikkei might look relatively stable or maybe just slightly down, but these highly advanced specialized tracking algorithms are experiencing this massive negative gravitational pull. Does that mean the headline numbers we see are basically masking the true chaos underneath?
It absolutely means that. Large index numbers, the ones that, flash across the bottom of your screen on the news, they're heavily weighted averages, and averages are just fantastic at hiding extremes.
It makes me think of like looking down at the ocean from a commercial flight at 30,000 feet. From up there, the water looks like a perfectly smooth, peaceful sheet of blue glass.
That is the perfect way to visualize it. Yeah, from 30,000 feet, the ocean looks totally calm. That's the Nikkei 225 holding its average.
Right.
But if you are actually down in the water, which is where these algorithmic units are operating on a millisecond basis, you aren't experiencing an average. You are getting caught in violent rip currents, rogue waves, massive undertows.
Because the individual stocks inside that index are whipping around wildly, even if the total average barely moves at all.
Exactly. And when highly engineered algorithmic logic diverges this wildly from the broad index, it acts as a glaring red warning light. It tells the researchers that historical correlations are just breaking down.
The rules have changed.
Yes, the existing market logic, like the typical relationships between asset A and asset B that worked perfectly last month, they're failing in real time. The water is deadly right now.
So if the water is that dangerous and the old rules are completely broken, how is anyone surviving? Because this brings us to what they call the active roster.
Right, the main operating forces.
Yeah, these are the algorithms that have been running the gauntlet. And amidst all this failure, there are a few units that are miraculously surviving the storm.
And this is where the difference between the equilibrium and momentum philosophies really starts to show its teeth.
Oh, it's stark. Let's look at the mountain climbers first, the ones looking to just stand still. They currently have 24 active units in the simulation. Out of those 24, 14 are holding positive points today. And here is the number that completely blew my mind. Those units achieved a massive daily score today of plus 120.7 points.
It's incredible. I mean, in an environment where the underlying correlations are breaking down, a capture of 120.7 points in a single day is nothing short of extraordinary.
It really is. It brings their total season points to plus 34.3.
Yeah.
And that's aided by what the lab calls a carryover balance of plus 19.8. And just so we're clear, that carryover balance is essentially the survival capital they've built up from previous trading sessions, right?
Yes, exactly. Think of it as stored algorithmic equity. It shows they've been consistently finding solid ground over time, which allows them to compound their stability.
Okay, so the mountain climbers are thriving, but then, and this is where it gets rough, you look at the wave riders, the ones actively trying to surf this chaos. They have 19 active units running, but only 7 are holding positive points today.
Ouch.
Yeah. As a team, they took a daily hit of negative 7.2 points. Now, their total season points are still positive at plus 19.1, but that is overwhelmingly because they had a massive carryover balance of plus 56.6 from the past. So their current momentum is completely stalling out.
Stalling out hard. And we also have to look at the 10-session exit scorecard for today.
Right, what's happening there?
Well, this tracks whether any units have completed their mandatory probation period and are scheduled to be rotated out of the live environment. For today, the number of units assigned to exit is 0.
Wait, meaning nobody gets to go back to the lab?
Nobody gets to leave the pressure cooker. Every single active unit, whether they are up 120 points or bleeding out, is trapped in the ongoing tracking protocol. They have to stay in the water and face whatever market data comes tomorrow.
Wow. Okay, I want to dig into how these surviving units are actually doing this. Because I look at the mountain climbers scoring plus 120.7 points, while the wave riders are literally being swallowed up trying to surf. The instinct is to say, well, the climbers just got lucky. But are they really finding something in the data, or are they just the lucky few who haven't drowned yet?
It's so tempting to write off anomalies as luck. But in algorithmic observation, when you see 14 distinct units maintain consistent positive holes in a highly negative rule-breaking environment, you are looking at statistical significance. I really view these surviving units as, well, like lighthouses in the dark.
Lighthouses in the dark. I love the poetry of that, but practically speaking, what does that actually mean for the code? Like, how does an algorithm act as a lighthouse?
It means they are the rare adapters. Let's think about how a mountain climber actually stands still mechanically. It's not just holding cash. Equilibrium detection often involves complex paired trades. So finding two assets that usually move together, noting that the storm has temporarily blown them apart, buying the undervalued one and shorting the overvalued one, they are isolating themselves from the direction of the broader market and locking in that tiny, stable spread.
Oh, I see. So they are hammering in their piston by locking in a mathematical relationship that the storm hasn't broken yet.
Precisely. And the fact that 14 mountain climbers found a way to not just survive but capture over 120 points doing this, it proves that even in an abnormal, rule-breaking market, a pinpoint equilibrium always exists.
Wow.
You just need the right logic architecture to detect it. The climber's philosophy is vividly proving more resilient today.
And the wave riders are failing because, what? The waves are just too unpredictable right now.
Exactly. A wave rider relies on momentum, it spots a surge in buying volume, jumps in, and tries to write the price up before exiting. But in an abnormal divergence like this, those surges are often false signals. They are rogue waves.
So they get crushed.
Yeah, the algorithm buys the surge, the momentum instantly evaporates, the price whipsaws down, and the unit takes a loss. The market is just too chaotic to surf.
The riders are trying to predict the unpredictable, and they're paying the price. While the climbers aren't predicting anything at all, they are just anchoring themselves to whatever solid ground their scanners can confirm.
That distinction is the core value of this entire observation log. It's why Team AI Lab runs this simulation in the first place.
Which, brings us to a really difficult psychological hurdle when analyzing this data. This observation log requires a completely cold, forward-looking research stance. As human beings, if you or I look at the Wave Rider's daily score of negative 7.2 points, our brains instantly light up with stress.
Oh, for sure. We hate red numbers.
Right, we label it a defeat. Red numbers are bad, green numbers are good. But the lab doesn't view negative 7.2 as a failure, do they?
No, they don't. And separating our human instinct to win every single day from the lab's objective is crucial here. If we connect this back to the idea of the laboratory, a scientist doesn't get angry when an experiment yields a negative result. Right. They don't view it as a defeat. A negative result is just data. It tells you exactly where the boundary of your hypothesis lies.
It's like, okay, we mixed chemical A with chemical B and it blew up the beaker. Good to know. Let's write that down so we don't do it again.
That's it entirely. Team AI Lab maintains this cold, detached research stance because in a simulation of unknown market environments, a failed logic model is just as valuable as a successful one.
Really?
Just as valuable.
I'd say so. Today's severe conditions, this massive abnormal divergence, they're providing raw, invaluable observation data. You cannot engineer the invincible algorithms of the future without knowing exactly how and why the algorithms of the present fail. So when the Wave Riders lose 7.2 points today, the lab doesn't see a loss of capital. They see it as, like, the tuition fee they are paying to learn exactly which frequencies of market chaos are mathematically impossible to surf.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. The strict observation log mindset is the only thing that allows for true adaptation over time. Because think about it, if the researchers panicked and pulled the plug the second a unit went negative, they would never learn how to build a unit that could recover from a negative position.
Right, they'd just be starting over and over.
Exactly. They are deliberately letting the storm run its course to gather the data that will eventually allow them to conquer the storm.
It's a completely different way of looking at a timeline. They aren't playing for today's daily scorecard at all. They are playing to build the ultimate unbreakable architecture for a decade from now.
And achieving that requires incredible discipline. The discipline to just observe, to not interfere with the parameters, and to let the math play out to its logical conclusion, no matter how brutal the daily numbers look.
It really makes you step back and think about how we process chaos in our own lives, not just in the markets. I mean, if highly advanced algorithms machines capable of processing millions of data points a second, designed specifically to track and chase momentum, if they're currently failing in this chaotic environment.
While the ones programmed to just find equilibrium succeed.
Exactly. While the algorithms programmed simply to find a quiet equilibrium, tune out the noise, and hold perfectly still are the ones succeeding. What does that teach us about human panic?
It's a profound parallel, honestly. We are so often conditioned to believe that when things get tough, we need to move faster, work harder, paddle more aggressively against the current.
Right, the instinct is always do something. But maybe when the rules of the world seem totally broken and everything is churning violently around you, the most powerful strategic move you can make isn't to fight the waves. Maybe the most advanced high-level strategy is to find your footing, ignore the headlines, and simply stand still until the storm passes.
Sometimes the bravest and most effective thing you can do in a storm is to anchor yourself and do nothing at all.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it for today. To everyone listening, if you found this behavioral study as fascinating as we did, and you want to keep tracking the storm alongside us, make sure you subscribe to this channel.
Definitely.
But more importantly, you need to look at the video description right now and visit the Team AI Lab Substack.
Highly recommended. The data there is incredible.
Yeah, we strongly urge you to sign up for a Substack subscription. That is where you will gain access to the raw, detailed analytical data. You can go beyond our summary here and actually follow these algorithmic units day by day as they navigate the rest of this incredible storm. See for yourself if the mountain climbers can hold their ground, or if the wave riders eventually figure out how to surf the chaos. Until next time, keep your eyes on the lighthouses.